For the upcoming release of Avengers Endgame, I decided myself that I wanted to review all the remaining MCU movies before the release date of Endgame, which is April 26th of this year. Okay, so a few months ago I reviewed the first 18 MCU movies, and now I'm going to pick up where I left off with Avengers Infinity War. Iron Man, Thor, the Hulk, and the rest of the Avengers unite to battle their most powerful enemy yet, the evil Thanos, on a mission to collect all 6 Infinity Stones. Thanos plans to use the artifacts to inflict his twisted will on reality. The fate of the planet and the existence itself has never been more uncertain, as everything the Avengers have fought for us led up to this moment. Boy, was this movie intense when it first came out. I remember just watching this movie in theaters twice. The first time there wasn't that many people because we went on a weekday, but the second time I saw it was with a bigger crowd, and man, it was so mind-blowing. I was already hyped for the opening scene when the Marvel logo was coming up and the dramatic music was playing. I was just like thinking, that shit is going to happen right now. Especially when they mention Asgard being in trouble. I would have to say that the opening scene I gave a lot of praise to. It starts off where Thor Ragnarok left off, but it is a totally different tone. It's more dark since Thanos killed half of Asgard, and you see Thor struggling along with Loki. They're both pretty beat up, and I love seeing the Black Order along with Thanos. It was nice to see Thanos in his armor. I honestly prefer him in his armor, but the movie does show that he doesn't really need it because he's pretty OP. But I'll get to that later. He starts off with the Power Stone that he got from Xandar, but that scene wasn't shown. I noticed some things are left out, such as Thanos getting the stone from Xandar, where Korg and Valkyrie are, along with the remaining Asgardians, and so forth. Hulk attacks Thanos right away when Loki mentions him. The fight between him and Thanos was pretty cool, even though it was short. After Hulk got his ass handed to him by Thanos, I think that it's disappointing that Hulk is not in this movie as much. The Russo brothers have a storyline behind this, but I won't really get into detail with that. I just know that Bruce Banner is in this a lot more. And don't get me wrong, I love Mark Ruffalo in this movie. I think him being Bruce Banner really made this movie because he's such a good actor, and he does a great job portraying both characters. At the opening titles, we cut to Iron Man with Pepper talking about their marriage, and then Doctor Strange shows up. The interaction between Doctor Strange and Tony Stark was awesome. Those two go together because they have similar chemistry, and their backstories are similar as well. They both have beards, they're both intelligent, they're both almost like brothers pretty much. That's why I love seeing these two together. And then Doctor Strange brings them back to Juan after Tony sees that Bruce is with them. This movie does a great job getting the characters together. We all knew the disaster that Thanos was going to cause was going to bring those characters together, but the way they did it in the movie was fantastic. Then the alien ship comes by and we see 2 of the Black Order, one of them being Ibanema and the other Cole Obsidian. Ibanema has got to be one of my favorite characters from the Black Order. He's the one that has the most personality, and he's especially an asshole because of the things he says, such as, "You may think this is suffering, but this is actually salvation," or "I'll take it upon your corpse." I love the way how he talks, and I love how menacing it is. You can tell he's not a friendly dude, and I really like how Tony calls him Squidward in the movie. The rest of the Black Order don't really have personalities such as him. Proxima Midnight and Corvus Glaive just fight while they have a few lines, and Cole Obsidian is pretty much the muscle. Speaking of which, when Iron Man goes up against Cole Obsidian, it is awesome. Tony's Mark 50 in action with the nanotech looks really amazing. The CGI on the suit is really not that great compared to his other Iron Man suits in the previous movie. I have to say that the first Iron Man suit looks more realistic. This one looks more just like a toy in a way. But other than that, it's not that bad. I like the suit. And then we get to see Spider-Man in action. Tom Holland, as in the previous movies, did a great job portraying Spider-Man in this, especially with his new Iron Spider suit. That was cool. The one thing I was hoping for was to see Spider-Man and the Hulk interacting with each other. But at least Bruce Banner mentions him and Ant-Man while talking with Cap and everyone else. Speaking of, I love how Cap came in the subway with the Avengers music, along with Falcon and the Black Widow. They were trying to save the Vision and Scarlet Witch from Corvus Glaive and Proxima Midnight. Vision doesn't do much in this movie because he's hurt, obviously, and Wanda is very attached and overprotective of Vision throughout the entire movie. No matter what, she doesn't want to be involved in the situation that they're in, and she wants to do anything she can to keep Vision alive, which will play an important role later on in the movie. I enjoy that story arc. And then later on, we're introduced to the Guardians of the Galaxy, who end up running into Thor. All the original Guardians, including Mantis, are there, and they're funny and entertaining as they always are. I love the interactions between Star-Lord and Thor. Star-Lord starts getting jealous at Thor because of things like Gamora touching Thor's muscles and Drax comparing the two of them, calling Quill fat. Drax was hilarious, especially with the scene as the Invisible Man. A lot of memes and jokes were made, especially through social media. Rocket still has his aggressive and furious self, and he becomes good friends with Thor during the movie. My least favorite characters would have to be Mantis and Teenage Groot. Mantis was okay. I liked her better in Guardians Volume 2. I think what I loved about her in that movie was the interactions between her and Drax. In this movie, she says a lot of dumb jokes, and I don't really care for them. She does come to use, though, by waking up Thor and trying to keep Thanos steady later on in the movie. Teenage Groot was just playing on his game for a majority of the movie, until he helps wield Stormbreaker. Gamora is especially one of those most important characters in this movie due to the fact that she is the daughter of Thanos and she knows where the Soul Stone is. This is why she has the most screen time besides Thanos in the movie, and I enjoyed her portrayal. Even though there's a lot going on with the characters, I was really impressed that the Russo brothers were able to balance everyone out. There were some characters that got more screen time than others, but those who had the most screen time had a purpose because they're part of the main story. And it's really nice that we got to enjoy all the characters and the Avengers interacting with the Guardians as well. I knew that the Russo brothers would do a great job bringing the Guardians in. This really is Thanos' movie because he is the main focus. Thanos has a mission to collect all 6 Infinity Stones in order to become the most powerful being in the universe. And the crazy thing is that he actually succeeds. This is what makes this movie unique and different from a lot of other superhero movies. Hell, a lot of other movies in general, is the fact that Thanos wins. The bad guy wins in this movie. He became the most OP character and fought against all the other Avengers. And he has a story arc in this movie too. This is basically Thanos' movie. He has the most screen time, he succeeds in his mission, and etc. I can't wait to see how this movie is going to transition into Endgame and how everything is going to end. Overall, I think this movie is excellent. I highly recommend it to anybody. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. If you haven't watched the previous Avengers movies, go check those out. This is one of those movies where you don't have to really watch every single MCU movie, but in doing so, it will make this even more epic. And I will see you guys in my next review.